Now I am going to sweep the probe from the costoclavicular space to the lateral infraclavicular fossa. You just observe the changes in the anatomy. Now if you look at, this is the subclavius muscle, serratus anterior, and this is the brachial plexus element just cephalate to the axillary artery and axillary vein. This is the pleura and the rib. Moment you come out, you can see the cephalic vein draining into the axillary vein, and if you come out little more laterally, you can see the thoracoacromial trunk. You can see the color flow exactly into that. Even if you slip out the probe even more laterally, you can see the pectoralis minor that come into the picture. Now you are at the lateral infraclavicular fossa. So now let us come to the target of our interest, how these cords are organized in these two different places. At the costoclavicular space, if you look at, all the three cords are tightly wrapped into the brachial plexus sheath, and they are organized just cephalate and above the axillary artery. But moment when you come to the pectoralis minor, that is the lateral infraclavicular fossa, the cords are started winding around the axillary artery. If I remove the pectoralis minor muscle, you can see this is the medial cord which winds around the axillary artery posteriorly and come to occupy the medial position, and this is the lateral cord. If I retract the axillary artery above, you can see the posterior cord lying behind the axillary artery. So now the zona anatomy will reflect the same. When you compare the image of the zona anatomy between the costoclavicular space and the lateral infraclavicular fossa, you can see the difference. Here the brachial plexus, that is the lateral cord, medial cord and the posterior cord, all are tightly wrapped in the brachial plexus sheath and lying just cephalate to the axillary artery, and it is superficial. Whereas if you come to the lateral infraclavicular fossa, the targets are much deeper, and if you look at, this is the lateral cord, that is the medial cord, and this is the posterior cord, which are around the axillary artery in a deeper place. And this is the representative diagram to reflect the same. If you look at in the costoclavicular space, you can see the needle come within the brachial plexus sheath and the local anesthetic is deposited. This is the brachial plexus sheath, and these are all the cords which are all bathed within the local anesthetic. And you can see the needle tip is moving. When you come, this is the posterior cord, and you can see the individual paraneural compartment of the posterior cord also. So now if you look at the, similarly if you look at the lateral infraclavicular fossa, the needle is coming here. This is the lateral cord, that is the medial cord, and posterior cord lies somewhere here. And you can see the needle is accessing the medial most cord. This is the medial cord, and this is the paraneural compartment of the medial cord, and this is the medial cord which is surrounded by the local anesthetic, and this is the lateral cord. You have to individually access all the three components so that the block is effective without any sparing. And this is the lateral cord. You can see the donut sign around the lateral cord, and then the needle has to move to the posterior cord to deposit the local anesthetic around it. So that is the posterior cord, and then the needle is going posterior to the axillary artery. And now the posterior cord is encircled by the local anesthetic.